Hi, it's Alpida from Visions of Hope, and this is the Clearing of the Vows class, free session, free class. Um, we have some guests here. You can't see it, but we have a little baby kitty. Cats are really good for clearing energy. Oh, he's a little baby kitty. Or a little mischief. All right, anyway, so let's get started. So what's a vow? So a vow is any time that we say, I will never, or I never, or I always. That's when we are creating a belief that's a vow. Those are things that take deep root, and usually they're like we're trying to keep ourselves safe. So we'll say, I will never date this kind of guy. I will never go back to that job. I will never this, or I always this, or I always that. So when we do that, we're creating what's called a vow. And it's just like a marriage vow. We're creating a contract between ourselves and the divine, our soul, that we're not going to do that anymore. Or we're always going to tell the truth, or we're always going to do this. And sometimes it's a good thing. A lot of times it's not a good thing. So like even thinking about telling the truth, let's say you're like, oh, I will always blah, 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 the truth. Just be careful because I don't want to make any vows right now, right? The whole point is to clear them. So what if your life is in danger and by telling the truth, you could get hurt or somebody else's life is in danger? You don't want vows. It's okay to be like, I do my best to tell the truth always when I'm able to, when it's safe to. It's okay to have those kind of beliefs, right? We definitely don't want to have a belief that, I never, but we also don't want to create these vows, which are, that's it, that this is what I do, this is what I don't do. We want to kind of be free to be ourselves in any situation. So in some situations, it might be necessary to tell a little lie. You know what I mean? If your friend really, really loves her new car and you're like, oh my God, that's so disgusting, that's so ugly. We don't want to be like, tell her the truth and be like, hey, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. We want to be like, oh my God, as long as you love it or whatever, you know what I mean? So it can hurt her feelings, right? So we want to kind of think of it that way. So these vows keep us stuck. They keep us in this whole, like, creating the same behavior over and over again. So that's why we want to clear them. And then once we clear them, then we have choice. We can choose to tell our friend that her car is ugly. We can choose to tell our friend something nice but not lie. We can be like, oh, wow, that's an interesting car. Like, how do you feel about her? Or if she's really excited, be like, I'm so excited for you. You finally got the car of your dreams, even if it's not what you like, right? So we want to clear these vows in order to be free, to be who we want to be. And a lot of times these vows come from our parents. They come from our religion. They come from, other authoritative figures in our life. So they could be a teacher, it could be someone we follow, and a lot of times they're not even what we believe, they're what other people believe, okay? And vows can be created by thoughts, words that we say, words that we hear, and also things that we write down. Like even if you write it down, you could be creating a vow. We could also have vows if you believe in it, which I do believe because I've had many experiences through past life regression. We can have them from past lives. We definitely have vows from generations. Like you will see, like, wow, my mom did that, and oh, grandma did that. And like going back through our lineage, we'll see that there are patterns that they're generational curses, they call them, but they're not. They're vows. Something happened somewhere, and this pattern was created, and we just all follow in line and repeat it. Grandma did it, so we do it. And even if it's something that we don't want to do, we kind of fall into it because we learn by example, right? Even if we're like, we don't want to do that, or sometimes we'll create a vow that's like, I will never be like that. And now we're creating a vow in the opposite direction, and we're still limiting our power, because now we're saying, okay, I'm never going to be like that. I'm going to, do things differently. But we don't want to do that. We want to have free choice, because what if what grandma did works in a situation, but we want to break those generational curses? So that's generally what vows are. And there's many, many ways that people do work with vows, to break vows. So my favorite thing is to do tapping. I'll show you what tapping is. And then, hold on, I should grab my pendulum. That's another way to do. With vows, I find that the best way is to tap. And I'll show you 3 ways to tap. We're going to tap on 5 different vows that I came up for me today as I was thinking about this class. Actually, one came up really, really strong when I announced this class, and then a couple came through today. So I have 3, but I know there's 5, so they'll come through as we're ready to. So we're going to tap, and I'll show you the 3 different ways that I tap as we're doing, because we're going to do 3 rounds with each one of them. And then the other option is to use a pendulum. This is one of my favorite, my new little toy. And basically, you just kind of hold it in your hand, and you just say what I'm going to say, and it works on the energy level. Where the tapping works on the nervous system. So we're going to tap on some points, not yet, but I'll tell you when we get started. What we're doing is we're tapping on the central nervous system, and by tapping on it, like sometimes if you have like a muscle spasm, if you tap on it, it will release. It's really weird, but it does. It will spasm, and then it will release. And that's what we're doing. We want to release that energy, the energy of that vow. So a vow creates an energy pattern. So think of it kind of like throwing a rock in a pond. It creates those ripples. It's the same thing with a vow. You're causing these ripples of behavior and thought, and we want to break that. Okay, we want to stop that, because we want to have choice. And every time we encounter a situation, we want to encounter it brand new and respond to it through our intuition, not through these patterns. Because we tend to attract the same relationships. We have the same kind of clients or jobs. We may have the same issues with like dieting, where you go on a diet, you lose all this weight, and then you go off the diet, and then back you are. So all these things are patterns that you notice, like, I do this all the time, or I attract these certain people. I had a period of time when I was constantly attracting women that reminded me of my mother, and it was because I had vows that I had made with my mother, contracts that I had made with my mother that I never fulfilled because she passed away. So I was attracting people to fulfill that vow, and that vow is never really fulfilled. You have to release it. You have to let it go, because even though I was attracting somebody that reminded me of my mother, had the same problems as my mother, I would try to fix them. I would try to help them. And just like with my mother, I felt like I failed. They wouldn't take my advice. They wouldn't change their behavior. And, things would happen that would put them on what I viewed as the wrong path, which is what I felt like happened with my mother. And I would just keep doing this pattern over and over again. And then until I released that vow that I had with my mother, with her energy, with her soul, I just kept repeating over and over again. I'm like, again. So like as I did this work, I was able to release those vows that I had to my mother. And partially the main bulk of it was that I felt like I failed her. Like it was my job to save her. She had breast cancer, and it was my job to save her, and I didn't save her. It was not my job to save her. That was her path. That was her choice. So once I released that, then now I don't, even if I attract someone who has a problem that I feel I can help them with, I don't take it personally when they don't do what I suggest that they do. I don't take it like, oh my God, I failed them. It's their choice. They can take the information I give them, just like all the information that I'm going to give you tonight. Take what works for you. Try it all and see how it works. So on that note, I'm going to tell you how you know it's working. So when you're releasing a vow, or even if you do this on limiting beliefs, a lot of people do this on limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is a lower level. Like a vow is like let's say like a vow is like marriage, you're married, it's on paper, it's a contract. A limiting belief is kind of like dating. So a limiting belief can be changed very, very easily and very quickly by just looking at what's going on in your life and what you're attracting. Where with a vow, you have to actually figure out what the vow is and break the contract. Okay, release the vow, break the vow. So it's a little bit more in-depth work, but on the mental level, but energetically it's the same thing. So the way that you know that you're releasing a vow or releasing a limiting belief, or that whatever you're doing is working, is that you have a response, a physical response. So that could be tears coming down your face, and it's not crying like, oh, it's more like just tears just run down your face. That's the nervous system releasing and letting go. You could yawn, that's really big. You could actually get upset and scream or cry, but it's more the cheering and the yawning. And sometimes your body will relax. Anything that tells you that the energy is like leaving your system. Everybody kind of just experiences it differently, but mostly it's the cheering and the yawning that you'll experience when you're doing any kind of clearing, and you know that it's working. Now, having said that, not every technique works for every person. I'm going to be running the pendulum at the same time. We're going to be doing the tapping, and I'm also, one of my gifts is, if you've ever seen there was a series long time ago on the CW, I think it was called, the network was called, called Sleepy Hollow, and there was a guy in there called the Sin Eater, that he could literally eat the sins of another person. I kind of have something similar where I will take on somebody's energy. Like when I'm doing a reading, I'm not just reading their energy, I'm not just reading their cards, I'm actually shifting their energy. So when I work with someone, like when we're dealing with an issue and talking about it, I'm processing that energy. So I will be processing your energy, whether you're live or on the replay, at the same time. It's just this weird thing. I can't explain it, but it does. Like people are like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Like, what'd you do? And I'm like, I want to say I didn't do anything, but I'm doing stuff. That's one of my biggest gifts, is to be able to shift people's energy. It's kind of like, let's say, like, you have to be careful with the words you use nowadays because people can sue you. Let's say you have an energy block, like something happened, maybe you created a vow, or you got stuck in a situation and your energy hasn't shifted. It's a wound, and it's an energetic wound. And let's say it's too much for you to handle. Like when you think about that incident or you think about that time period in your life, you're like, I just can't. What I do when I work with someone, whether they know it or not, whether we're talking about it or not, is I handle the extra. So let's say, I love it when my spirit guides give me all these weird examples. So let's say you got a big bowl of ice cream and you can't eat it all. I eat the stuff that you can't eat. So I bring it down to size so that you can actually handle what you're supposed to process. And I process the extra stuff, and then it heals and it moves on. So I'll be doing that for you guys tonight. So I'm going to use the pendulum. I'm putting it in my left hand because I'm going to be tapping with my right. Normally you would do is your right hand. It honestly doesn't matter which hand you use. One thing with the pendulum, if you're using a pendulum, and a pendulum could be anything. You can take a necklace. Oh, maybe right here. Yeah, I do. I only have a necklace here because the freaking cat tried to steal it. So you want to have like a pendant on it. You could put a ring that's special to you. You could put your wedding ring on it. You can put, a stone that you really like. Excuse me, I'm already, something is moving. Come on. Of course, it's the magnetic charger. So the necklace is sticking to the magnet on the magnetic charger. Whoever invented that was like so genius. Oh, look, my mom wants to be here. This is my mom's. The gold chain is my mom's chain. But you could use just a plain chain, but I feel like it's better when you have something at the end of it as a point of focus. So you want to kind of hold it so that it's about yay long. So you don't want it too long. So you could just kind of wrap it around your finger. If you don't have a pendulum, you can use that. Or you can use all of them. And no. Sorry. The kitten's on the laptop, and I don't want her to close the window. All right, so we're not going to use all of them, but I am going to put Mom on. And we'll put that one there. Here, play with this. Go. All right, so the first vow we're going to tap on is the vow of poverty. And I'm being told it's the power of being broke. I have no idea what that means. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. The power of being broke. Okay, so what I'm getting is that we take the vow of poverty when we say, I am, and we say the word broke, okay? So let's say you're at the supermarket and you're going to buy something and you're like, you have to be mindful of your words. You talk about affording things and how you can't, and you say, I am, and the word broke. When you do that, you are taking on the vow of poverty, even though you may not say, I am always, or I am never. That word, especially in today's day and age, ever since the 1920s, 1925, I'm getting, took on a special power. So the word, I know the little kitten here, words have a meaning. And then when we start to use them in a certain meaning, like words like slang, they start to take on that energy, okay? So they have their regular energy, and then they have the meaning that we give them. So the word broke means to be broke, to have a crack in it, to be in pieces, all right? So during the Great Depression, when people were like literally in that broke energy, like they were losing their houses, they were losing jobs, they were, you know, this was right around the time of, this was a bit after the Spanish flu of 1918, but that kind of snowballed, and that kind of brought this energy of broke. It literally came from the part of like, I can't do anymore, I'm at this state of being in pieces. And people started to use that word broke, meaning not having the resources to live. So not having food, not having money to pay their bills, not having a place to live. And this word took on this energy. And it's not necessarily the vow of poverty like some people will talk about, where it's like, you know, you were a nun or a priest or a monk in a previous life, or in that sort of like energy. It's more of that broke energy. And what's going on right now with COVID-19, it's like literally like mushrooming because of what's going on with our government. Stop. What's going on with people not having jobs and not being able to work, and things like that. That word broke is being used so much right now that it's literally like I see like the mushroom cloud of a nuclear reaction, right? A nuclear bomb. And what we really want to do is we want to diffuse that, because you're not broke. You're not in pieces. We always have resources. That whole, when one door closes, another door opens. We just have to, like, when we clear that vow of poverty, and we let go of that state of being broke, because we do, like, emotionally we get to that point, and mentally we get to that point where it's like, I don't see any other way. Like, it feels like all the options are closing, and they're not. It's all the old ways are closing. All the old systems are being torn down, hence being broke. So we want to clear that, because it's like, I feel like it's the cornerstone. It's like the center stone. And once we take that out, everything starts to crumble, although we still want to clear other things. So we're going to tap. So you just want to do what I do, repeat after me, and we're going to do it 3 times, and we're going to do it in different ways. And the reason I'm showing you the 3 different ways is because people have different results with the 3 different ways. and I'll show you the one that works the most for me. But as we go forward and we do the other 4 vows, I want you to pick one that feels like your stuff is moving, and then use that every time. Don't worry about the other stuff. Everybody works differently. All right, so I am releasing this vow of poverty, this feeling of being broke, of all my resources being stripped away from me, of feeling broken, poor. Okay, nothing came for that. Usually there's like words that come with the top one. I didn't get anything for that. So that's one way to tap. Another way to tap, which this is my thing. I've never seen anybody else do it, and if anybody else does it and whatever, it's their thing, that's great. But I tap right here, right between the boobs on the breastbone. You want to actually feel the bone right there, and you want to, like, you're using these 3 fingers, always using these 3 fingers, and you tap lightly. You're not trying to hurt. If it hurts, you're doing it too hard. So we're going to say it again. I am releasing this vow of poverty, this feeling of being broken, this feeling of everything being stripped away, everything being cleared away, everything being taken away. Okay, like I got, like, my face it felt flush, like I got hot, okay? So we'll do it one more time, and this time you're going to do right in the back of your neck where there's that, like right in the middle where the spine is, and there's that indentation. You want to find that spot, and you want to be, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like on the base of the skull. So your top finger is on the base of the skull, so you're touching the skull, but you're tapping in that little channel where your spine is. You're actually tapping on the spine and on the skull at the same time. And again, like, as you see, the words, it's not that the words don't matter. You always want to say, I am releasing the vow and the word of the vow, and then you tap whatever comes to you. I am releasing this vow of poverty, the feeling of being broken, of everything being taken away, stripped away, tossed away. This feeling of all the doors closing, all the old systems are dying, and I release this vow of poverty, this vow of brokenness. Okay. I don't know if you saw that. I had a really big yawn. So for tonight, I'm going to tap on the back of my neck. That's where I felt it the most. And apparently, we're not going to use the pendulum because the kitten keeps, again, if you find that the tapping doesn't work for you, that you're not getting something, you may get hot, you might get cold, something will happen with your body that will shift, and you'll know that the tapping is working. So you want to use that. If that's not working, then you use the pendulum. So the second vow is the vow of invisibility. So this one came to me earlier today, and it's about that whole children should be seen and not heard, and how a lot of times we were told, shush, shush, go away, adults are talking. And that's great, but there's still a part of us that's a child. There's that part of us that never grew up, and so a lot of people are stuck there. So we're going to tap on the vow of invisibility. So again, I want you to pick whichever. If this one works for you, then do that. If the breastbone works for you, the breastbone actually, when we first went into lockdown for a good, I want to say a month and a half, 2 months, every time I would go out at night when I would come in, awesome, good. When I would come home at night, like 11 o'clock at night, when finally I had showered, everything was put away, and finally everything was quiet, kind of like now, I would have such major anxiety. Like my heart would start racing, I would start panicking, like it was really bad. And I would start tapping there, and it was the only thing that helped me make it through it, because I really thought like I was going to go crazy. Like the panic attacks were so bad. And I've had panic attacks before, but they were not like this. This was like ridiculous. And I know part of it comes from being an empath, and every time I was out there, it was like, oh my God, all these people are freaking out, and I would feel their energy, and I would bring that energy home, and then at the end of the night, that energy's got to go somewhere. Your body can only hold so much energy, and so you'll shake, you'll have a panic attack, you'll rock, like somehow the energy, it's kind of like when your foot falls asleep and it wakes up again. When you're starting to get feeling in there, it starts, those nerves start to fire. It's kind of like that. That energy has to go somewhere, and we get overwhelmed. We have panic attacks, we have anxiety or whatever. And so tapping right there, and I would do it like now I put a bubble on every time I leave the house. Like literally you imagine yourself in a pink bubble of light. I've kind of gotten used to it and kind of gotten my system, and I know how much time I can handle, like in a store and being out in the world, and I've kind of adjusted. We all have in our own way. So I don't really need to do that anymore. And I also know, like, when I'm like, okay, I'm getting hot, it's time for me to leave. I'm like, whatever, grab the milk, grab whatever needs to, like, the most important things on my grocery list, and I'm out of the store. So that is huge for panic attacks. Because a lot of times we'll feel it here, and there's a nerve that runs, I kind of see it as a tree, and it basically runs all the way down here. It's called the vagus nerve. It wraps around the neck, right side. I think it wraps on both sides, but I'm being told right. And then it goes down into the gut. So like a lot of times when you have, like, you'll have butterflies in your stomach, or you'll feel nauseous about something, that's your vagus nerve. It's the biggest nerve in your central nervous system, telling you it's not safe, it's not good. And that's where our emotions get trapped. It does connect through the face and all that stuff, and I think this is one of the points that people tap, because the vagus nerve it's literally like a tree. Like, imagine these are the branches that come up here, and then the parts that go into the gut are the roots. So like things like Hawaiian abdominal massage are really good. You can look up videos on YouTube. So if you're having a lot of stomach issues and stuff like that related to anxiety and what's going on in the world, you can do some of that. There's so many techniques out there, but I find like this is the core, like this is the center of the trunk of the tree. And anytime you have anything going on, you can just start tapping there. Even if you get like really angry at something and you're like, I don't know what to say, just start tapping there and think what you're thinking, feel what you're feeling, and you'll find that it'll very quickly release, because you're letting it go. You're getting it out of your system, literally getting it out of your system. All right. So tonight I'm tapping here. You tap either the points that I showed you, or tap here, or you can use the pendulum. So I am releasing the vow of invisibility. It's okay to be seen. It is safe to be seen. I allow myself to be seen when I choose to be seen, in the way that I choose to be seen, by whom I choose to be seen by. So I can feel that releasing. So we're going to do it 2 more times. Normally I wouldn't do it 3 times, but I'm getting 3 times tonight. So I release my vow of invisibility. I choose to be seen. I desire to be seen. By whom I desire to be seen. It is safe to be seen. I love to be seen. I love to be in the limelight. And I love people to see who I am and what I do. My accomplishments, my gifts, my talents, my beauty, my knowledge, my wisdom, my intuition. And we're going to tap one more time. I release my vow of invisibility. I choose to be seen when I desire to be seen. It is safe to be seen in all my glory by those that I choose to see me. I desire the limelight. I desire my 15 minutes of fame. And I choose what I am famous for. And I choose all of it. And you'll notice that once I stop talking, I'll yawn. And that to me is my signal that that has cleared. So, so each time that I cleared the vow of invisibility, good job. I see that. Every time I did the vow of invisibility, I said different things because there were different things that were coming up. So normally, like, you would just keep tapping. Like, I did this, like, it was about a week ago. I was like, oh, this freaking tapping stuff doesn't work for me. And I started tapping, and that time I tapped the points, and it worked for me. And I did the releasing of the vows, and I was so freaking powerful. All right. So vow number 3 is the vow of sacrifice. So a lot of us have this vow of sacrifice. We were raised to believe that we have to sacrifice to get what we want. And normally the word sacrifice means giving up something of less value for greater value. So it's kind of like saying, here, like, I'll give you a large ice cream if you give me your small ice cream. But that's not what we've made it mean in today's society. And again, words have their own meaning. So they have that meaning, but then they have this meaning that we've all attached to it. And we've all attached this meaning of how I have to give up what I want for other people to be happy. I have to give up everything I want to have that one thing. I can't have it all, those sort of things. And that's not what sacrifice means. And we definitely don't want to feel like we want to think of sacrifice in the, like, I will sacrifice my iPhone 11 for an iPhone 12. That's what sacrifice is supposed to mean. Sacrifice is supposed to mean upgrade, okay? But we don't see it that way in today's day and age because we've been taught that to sacrifice is to give up things that we want, to have something better, but not in the way that we think it is. We think that we have to give up everything that we want. We have to give up, if we want fame and fortune, we have to give up our family, or if we want a career, we have to give up time with our children. That's what we've made it mean, and that's not what it's supposed to mean, okay? So that's why it's really important to get rid of this vow of sacrifice. And then we get to choose. We get to choose to be like, okay, right now I'm working. So my hubby's with the boys, and my daughter should be asleep by now, hopefully. It's not sacrifice. Like normally I would be sitting here scrolling through Facebook. It's not sacrifice. It's not sacrifice the way that we think it. Like I'm giving up watching a show, which I enjoy, to do this class. It's not. I enjoy doing that stuff. And normally, like I said, I'd be scrolling through Facebook, which, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes we need that. So it's really important to figure out, to release this vow in order for us to be able to have all the things we want when we want them. So sometimes it is like, okay, well, I'm going to have steak tonight and I'm going to have lobster tomorrow or whatever. Like I can't eat everything tonight. That's not sacrifice. That's balance. That's, you know, prioritizing. That's, you know, spreading out the bounty. That's not sacrifice. Okay. And a lot of times we're taught that we have to save money, you know, we have to save money for a house. So we have to sacrifice that latte and that cookie and that pretty piece of jewelry or that pair of shoes. Again, that comes from the Great Depression. That comes from that whole, like, there wasn't a lot to go around. So they had to like hold on to things and save things and portion things out when it came to food and stuff. We don't live in that. Well, sometimes it feels that way right now with everything going on, but it's not. We have much greater resources in today's day and age, and we have, like with online, we have greater potential to make more money and to attract more money in many ways. All right, so again, tap wherever you feel most comfortable or use the pendulum. I release my vow of sacrifice. I choose what I desire, and I desire it all, and I can have it all, and I will have it all without giving anything up that I truly desire. I allow myself to desire all the things that I desire whenever I desire them. Okay, that was huge for me. All right, 2 more times. I release my vow of sacrifice. I know that I do not need to give up anything that I have now that I truly desire to have in my life in order to have new things, better things in my life. I get to choose what I give up, when I give it up, and why I give it up. I also get to choose what I desire to call in, to attract, to manifest, and there's always room for more. All right, 3rd time. I release my vow of sacrifice. I know that sacrifice is not necessary anymore. There's plenty. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of everything. And I choose to desire it all. I choose to desire what I desire. And I choose to manifest all that I desire. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we got 2 more. So the 4th one, it just came to me. I just kind of love how it works because I'm always like, oh my God, is it gonna come? Am I gonna get something? I have tons of stuff to tap on to begin with. So it's the vow of necessity, and basically what I'm getting is how up to this point in time, most of us have manifested things through necessity. So I need rent money. I need money for gas. I need money for food. And that's how we manifest. Not that we don't manifest other ways. Sometimes we'll say, I wish this or I desire that, and we'll manifest it. But up to this point in time, and actually like I'm getting 2003, I don't know why, but anyway, 2003, the majority of the population could only really truly manifest through need. Just like I said, I need gas, I need food, I need money for this, I need money for that. Something happened in 2003 that broke the dam, is basically what I'm seeing. It's like open the floodgates so people can manifest what they truly desire. And that's the energy we want to tap into. So we don't want to just manifest what we need. We're always going to manifest that. We're not letting go of that way of manifesting. What we're doing is by releasing the vow of necessity, we're opening that floodgate for us and for the rest of mankind, for whoever is ready to receive it, I should say, so that they can manifest what they desire. So instead of it's just like all I can do is live paycheck to paycheck, it's more of course I can have that pretty piece of jewelry. Of course I can have 8 pairs of the same shoe. Of course I can have the new iPhone 12 or whatever it is. So it's manifesting based upon desire. So we can still manifest necessity, but now we can also manifest desire much easier and much quicker, okay? So again, tap whatever feels comfortable to you or use the pendulum. I release my vow of necessity. I always receive what I need, and I always receive what I desire. As soon as I desire it, as long as it's in line with my highest good. And only I know what is my highest good. And only I know what I truly desire and what I need. And I allow it all in now. I release my vow of necessity. I allow myself to receive the things I desire. I allow myself to desire what I desire. I allow myself to want what I want. I allow myself to manifest what I want. Okay. I think that was 3. Anyway, I feel like that one's complete, whether we did 3 or not. Sometimes I lose track. So that one was really powerful. That was really big because that opens as one person. I think it's actually like a phenomenon that they've observed, but like when one person broke the 4-minute mile, like being able to run a mile in 4 minutes, then all of a sudden other people could do it when nobody could do it. That's what we're doing here. So as we're breaking these vows, we are opening up the energy so that other people can break them, and they can break them more easily. And not necessarily by doing all this work, although it's very powerful to do this stuff and to clear stuff for yourself. When you have tools like this that you know, you can sit there and be like, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I having a difficult time with what I'm trying to manifest or this conversation or whatever? And then you can start tapping and being like, okay, when I did it the other night, I literally, and I've done this work before, but when I did it the other night, I literally sat there like for a half hour, 45 minutes, and I was tapping, and I was just like, I released my vow of, and like the words would just come to me. That's what you want to do. As much as the 5 that we're doing tonight are really important, very key, you want to learn how to do this on your own, although sometimes we do need help to do it, and it helps when someone else is doing it with you. But I want you to be able to do it whenever you feel it. It's not like a car where you needed to take it to a mechanic. You know all this stuff in you. You know what is keeping you. You just don't always have the words for it. So I'm helping you find the words, and you need to just trust it. Like had I sat down and wrote down the vows before we started, I never would have tapped on the vow of necessity. I'm like, what does that even mean? So as I allow it to come through me and allow my guides and all the guides of everyone that's on live and on the replay, I can be that channel and allow things to come through without thinking about it and saying, oh, well, we really should tap on this vow. Sometimes the things that you think you need to tap on are the things that you don't have a problem with. It's the things that you are like, oh, I don't need that. That's where you have a problem, and then you need to tap on it. And then sometimes we just tap because it feels good and we release stuff, all right? So 5th vow. Come on. Oh, okay. The vow of longevity. That's really interesting. So I'm getting a lot of people are afraid of death right now and afraid of being sick. And that's part of what the vow of longevity is. But it's more about living a long life, but a life that is, like, we don't want to get to like the point where like 65, 70 and we're like at doctor's appointments every 5 seconds. We want to have a long, healthy life. We want to be, you know, as active as we can be in our later years. And even now I'm getting, okay, so part of the vow of longevity is this whole like, oh, when you hit 40, you start to have issues with this. When you hit 50, you start to have issues with that. That is not true. Like, just because you're 40 doesn't mean that you're going to have these problems. Just because you're 50 doesn't mean that. The reason that scientists say this stuff is because of that whole, like the 4-minute mile. Like, one person was like, oh, I started wearing glasses when I was 40, and that person said, oh, that just happens when you get older. So then they said that to their friend, and then their friend was like, oh, well, all of a sudden they need glasses. And it kind of mushrooms where it's like, and then all these things become accepted knowledge. Like, oh, when you're at this age, you have to have a colonoscopy. Or when you're at this age, you're at risk for this disease. It's the way that I'm being told, it's like a rumor. Like, someone was like, oh yeah, this is what happens when you hit this age, as a joke, and people took it seriously, and now this is what's happened. Like, we have all these rules and all these, like, at 50, this is what happens. That's not true. And it doesn't have to be true. So that's what part of it's about having a long and healthy and active life so that you can be as healthy as you desire to be at any level in your life. You're not bound to that vow of like at 50, all of a sudden I'm going to have these problems, or at 60, all of a sudden I'm going to have these problems. That's what clearing the vow of longevity is about. And especially with what's going on right now, it's clearing, another part of it is clearing any residual impacts of COVID-19, whether you've had it or not. Like a lot of people are having problems even after they get better, where there's certain damage to certain parts of their body that they're not seeing is getting better. It's to help clear that, because that doesn't need, the body can come back from just about everything, and the body can even come back, we've seen come back from death. So it's to clear all that. So like when you're done with an illness, there is nothing left. Your body goes back to even better. I get restored to factory setting. That's what we're doing. We're restoring to factory setting. So tap where you feel most appropriate. And we're going to do 3 rounds of this one as well. I release my vow of longevity. I am healthy and active now. And I am healthy and active throughout all my life. I release the thought that any age brings any illness. Okay. That was huge for me. I release the vow of longevity. I release anything lingering in my body that is not supposed to be there. I release side effects. I release damage. I restore my body back to its factory setting. All right, we're going to do one more. I release my vow of longevity, and I release it back through all time, space, and dimension. I release it back through all my lineage and forward through all my lineage to all my descendants. It's so funny because when I did my vow clearing session for myself last week, a lot of the things that I cleared had that through all time, space, and dimension, through past lives, through forward lives, through my lineage forward and back. And today we didn't have that for the first 4, which I thought was really interesting. It didn't come up, but it did come for health, for longevity. And I felt like a huge shift when I was talking about forward. We don't want our children, our grandchildren, to have that whole like, oh, I'm 40, I need glasses. Oh, I'm 50, I need this. Oh, I'm sick. That's not necessary, okay? And we also want, our bodies know how to heal themselves. They're amazing. Like, every part of the body can heal itself. I know they say that the brain tissue can't, but it can. We have put that idea out there, and we need to kind of let it go. So that was vow clearing. We cleared 5 major vows for everybody that's on this call and on the replay. And I felt like it was a huge ripple out to the universe, like helping clear other people that may be stuck in these vows, that need a little bit of help, a little bit of push to clear them. And the more clearing you do, the more you're, not only are you clearing for yourself, you're clearing backwards in time, you're clearing, your ancestors, you're clearing forward, and you're helping clear for the planet. And you kind of really can't do it wrong. You're clearing, even if you clear a vow that, well, first of all, your soul will never let you clear a vow that it's not safe for you to clear yet. So sometimes you'll be like, oh, I want to clear this. Like you'll see something on Facebook or whatever, and you'll be like, oh, I want to clear that. And like your soul will be like, no, we're not ready for that. So in that first vow that we cleared, I talked about safety, and that's where that safety switch is. You're never going to clear anything that is not safe for you to clear, okay? You just can't. That's kind of how we're designed. It's kind of like a surge protector. Like if the power's too much power's coming in, it shuts down. It's the same thing. We won't clear anything. And you may clear stuff now, and then you might find that there's more clearing to do. It's going to be a different part of it. It's not going to be the same vow. It's probably like we all have different connections. Like for me, poverty may mean money, or for somebody else, poverty may mean food. Like they grew up in a family that for generations there was food scarcity, so that's poverty for them. So maybe their vows around money are resources, are opportunity. It's the vow of opportunity, not having access to opportunity. So we all have different vows attached to different areas of our lives. It's not the same thing across the board. So you want to keep that in mind. So like, let's say we cleared poverty tonight and you're like, oh, my money situation hasn't changed. Well, it's probably because there's a different vow attached to that. And for a lot of people, it's resource, it's opportunity, it's the vow of invisibility, which we did tonight. It could be the vow of, having to do with speaking, being heard. We did being seen. It could be about being heard. So the last thing I wanted to mention is that I was kind of working on the website before I got on the call. I am offering Clear the Path to Desire sessions. So it's a session where we'll get on and we'll clear together, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to clear. I'm not telling you anything. I'm interpreting for your soul, for your intuition. So sometimes when people sit down to do this work, they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to clear. I don't know what is behind all this stuff. And we'll get stuck in that whole conversation on our head where we're like, I don't know if this is working. And that's why I tell you that the yawning is a sign. That's why I tell you that the tears are a sign. So you know that it's working. If you're tapping on something and nothing is happening, is either one, you need to try a different method. So you maybe do the points, or you do the center of the breastbone, or you do the back of the neck. Maybe you're guided to tap somewhere else. In traditional tapping, EFT, some people do start here. I don't really like this point. I find it annoying, and there's like a whole sequence that goes with it. I don't find it useful for vows. I don't feel like it's helpful for vows, but if that's where you feel like it, you've watched a bunch of videos, you've seen people chop on what's called the karate chop point, and that's where your intuition is telling you to tap, then that's where you tap. It's not Elpida said tap here. It's Elpida says tap where you feel called to tap. Elpida says you tap on whatever you feel called to tap. And as I was doing that, I've got somebody needs to be tapping here. I don't know who, but on the replay, someone needs to be tapping here. So the collar, right on the collarbone. Okay, some people say like inside the, no, right on the collarbone. Okay, you want to tap right on the collarbone. So you pick something that you know, not even a vow, but pick something that you say all the time that drives you crazy. So for me, it'd be like, I'm always cleaning up other people's messes. Like I'm the mom and I get that's my job, but it's a pattern for me. So I would tap that. I would do traditional EFT tapping. So that what that would look like is I'm tired of cleaning other people's messes. It really fucking pisses me off when I clean other people's messes. And just keep saying what you would say to a friend. You're so cute. Like let's say you're ranting, that's what you would do. And try the traditional points. Try this point, try this point, try this point. Take those same words and tap them in different places, and wherever you start yawning or you have tears, that's your point to tap on. And don't worry about not tapping on all the points, or maybe yours is to tap left. Doesn't matter. As long as what you want to do is you want to get that stuff out of the central nervous system, so you have to be tapping somewhere. The pendulum works on the energetic level, and it helps. And for some people, tapping on their body is too sensitive and they can't. So they need to clear on the energetic level first, and then they can tap. That's fine. Do where you're guided to do. So anyway, 2 seconds. So clearing the path to desire is a session where we get on, you tell me what's going on. I'd like to work on like 1 or 2 areas of life. They're going to be 45-minute sessions, and we'll get on a call like this, like a Zoom thing, and it'll be recorded. You'll get the recording, and we'll tap and just like literally clear that stuff. And then what we'll do is another process called anchoring as well, where you're actually going to speak your desires. So it's tapping, but it's tapping the desire parts. And that's where people have a hard time, like actually saying what their desires are. And I have lots of different techniques on getting to what your desires are. So if you're interested, let me know. I'm going to post this video on YouTube, and I'll share the link on Facebook. And underneath it, at some point tomorrow morning, there'll be the link to schedule a session. I haven't written all the copy and stuff yet. I was kind of working on it before I got on the call. But you can also tap on your own and go through this video and just use the same words and just put different words in there, put different vows in there. Like I said, if you start tapping on something that you're not meant to start tapping on, you'll be told to stop. And that could mean that something happens, you'll hear a crashing noise in the other room and you go running and you forget about tapping. It could mean like you all of a sudden you feel nauseous and uncomfortable and you have to stop. It could mean you fall asleep. Your body will shut you down if you are tapping on something that you are not ready to tap. Because what happens is it's not safe, and we're not going to do something that's not safe. So anything that we've tapped on the video tonight, it's time to clear those vows and release those vows. And that's why it helps to have someone to do it with, just so that you're like, because when I go in with someone, and even I do this a lot with tarot, and I'm not even like thinking about doing it. I'm like clearing their stuff without them even being aware of it. I just know. My intuition just points me in the right direction, and I'm clearing stuff. A lot of times when I'm doing the tarot, I have the pendulum, and I'm clearing their energy, and I sometimes will clear vows, I'll clear beliefs. I don't always know what I'm clearing. I'm just clearing whatever is going on around that issue, and they'll feel it. They'll be like, oh, I feel so much better, and like, wow, things have shifted for me. So this is a session where we actually get really conscious, and we actually talk about and actually tap out the vows themselves, and then we talk about the desires that are hidden underneath those vows. Like, there's like, I know for me, the vow of invisibility, it's I want to be on stage, and right now it's not the like time to be out on a physical stage, but it doesn't mean that I can't be out on a stage. And there's always been stuff holding me back. And now it's safe, and now I've cleared that vow, and I know more opportunities to be on stage, to be seen, to be in the limelight, to be recognized and be seen are going to come up because I've cleared that vow, and now it's safe to clear that vow. So I've cleared it, and now things will shift. It's that kind of stuff. So clearing vows isn't like always instantaneous. What it does is it's kind of like it's clearing the rocks in your road. Okay, it's clearing those bumps in the road that are detours that block you from the things that you want. All right, so if you're interested in a session, let me know. I will post the link, and just take this and run with it. Use it. I mean, that's why I'm sharing it, and I'm sharing it for free. All right, take care.